thought I'd provide anybody buying a shotgun for the first time some practical advice on what you may want to consider. And what I'm proposing is that you consider buying used versus new. And there's a few reasons for that, and I'll explain those. It's been my experience after 45 years of hunting that if you're going to buy a gun, either a shotgun or a rifle, you're going to want to try different guns. That's just no different than buying a car. You're going to try out different cars, you're going to want to try out different guns. And guns are a lot like cars, they got to feel right. So, and to keep your value, it's my opinion that you will get your money back if you buy a used gun wisely versus buying a new. Because right off the bat with a new gun, just like a car, it loses value as soon as you take it out of the shop. First off, you got to pay the tax. You'll always lose the tax, but you won't if you buy used. If you buy it from a reputable dealer or from a gun show, very seldom will you end up paying tax. Today I have two shotguns that I want to show you that I think are good value in the used market. What I have to show you are two shotguns made by J.P. Sauer out of Germany. Both are used shotguns that I've bought in the past few years. The first one is a 16 gauge. To show you this, it's an empty gun. This one as well is an empty gun, safety first. This is a 16 gauge shotgun, and this is a 20 gauge shotgun. This one is a lower grade than the second one that I have here with my hand on it. This is the Royal model, which is one of their higher grade shotguns, and this is more or less an entry grade shotgun, though it's an excellent weapon and extremely well made. This gun you could probably pick up at a gun show somewheres in the $800 to $1,200 range, depending on condition. This one would be considered very good condition, so it's probably around $1,100, that range. This gun is considered almost new condition, so it's going to bring a higher dollar, probably in the $1,800 range, or even up to $2,000. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but it's money that you'd always get back as long as you kept the gun in the same condition. And we'll talk about that in a minute. What to look for if you're going to buy a shotgun of this caliber, and there's a few things that I'll point out in a minute. But getting back to my introduction, when you buy a gun like this, again, you'll get your money back if you maintain it in the condition that you bought it. If you buy a new shotgun, like I said earlier, right away you're going to lose that money for the simple reason that that's just the way it is. Alright, I'm going to disassemble the shotgun and show you some of the points that you would want to consider if you're looking at this type of shotgun. Take off the forearm. And we'll disassemble it here. Very easy. You'll notice I'm using an oily cloth in the handling of the gun. Moisture and acid from your hands are a gun's worst enemy, because acids will cause rust, as will moisture. So I always keep a cloth like this close at hand and just constantly wipe them down lightly. So when they're looking at a side-by-side shotgun in particular, you'll notice how they're made, beautifully made. And some of the things that you look for is that on a well-made shotgun, the screws always face north. And I'll show you that. Here's 1, 2, 3 of them. They're all perfectly aligned. That tells you that extra care was made or put into the making of this particular weapon. The same thing can be seen on the shotgun itself. On the barrels, even the screws here for the sling are all lined up. Same thing on the receiver. This screw here, this screw are perfectly aligned. Again here, and even on the butt, perfectly aligned. What that tells me is this gun has never been taken apart. For some reason, a lot of people think they have to take a gun apart just to see what it looks like. Not a good thing, really. When you look at a shotgun like this, you want to see what kind of shape the bluing is in. Here, this is pretty much the original bluing. We have some fading here, and that's simply from the gun being carried. Doesn't really matter very much. You can't help that. You also want to look at the receiver itself. Look at the face of the receiver, where the firing pins are. Make sure that there's no pitting around here. And if you see that, then again I would walk away. Look closely into this area, looking for rust, any sign of pitting. Those are critical components of your shotgun. If there's rust, they were not looked after. Now on the barrels, look down the barrels, nice and shiny, clean, no pitting. If you see pitting, I would suggest that you walk away, as the gun wasn't looked after, wasn't cleaned after it was being used, and that's not a good thing. The other thing on the barrels, make sure that there's no bulges. Bulges happen when somebody fires a gun when there's an obstruction in the barrel. If it's way out here, it probably won't affect the use of the gun, won't look so nice. But if it's up close to the chamber here, I would be concerned, because you may not be able to get it out, and it may have weakened the metal too much. So again, I would walk away. On this gun, same thing, only a little bit more elaborate gun. Checkering is more fine. Bluing is a little richer. Case coloring on here, which is just a coating that's put on the receiver for effect more than anything. Nicely engraved. To buy this gun today, brand new, I don't think you could get it for $5,000 based on what I see online in the side-by-side category. So if you got this gun for $1,500 to $1,800, or even $2,000 for that matter, you've got yourself a really fine weapon at a very good price. And again, I'll make my point that you should be able to get your money back, which is the real point of it. So that if you decide that that's not the gun that you want, then you can trade up or trade into another type of shotgun which might better suit your needs. For example, an over-under, semi-automatic, both good guns. But the side-by-side, which we have here, are very classic guns, and anybody that's done a lot of bird hunting will tell you that there's just something special about a side-by-side shotgun. To provide you with a few more points to consider when looking at a shotgun to buy, I'll use this shotgun. This is a higher grade shotgun, which I mentioned earlier. You can see that in the wood to metal fit. It's a little fancier around here. The engraving is more detailed than that gun. This gun is in almost new condition. You can tell by the look of the wood. There's very few marks in it. Just very minor handling marks, which you just can't avoid. The bluing is almost brand new. There's no wear here, which tells me the gun was probably never really taken out in the field for any length of time. I'm going to disassemble this shotgun to show you a few points to consider. As you can tell, this gun is really tight when you open it. It doesn't fall open, which tells me that the pin here is tight, hasn't been opened up a lot, not used a lot. This has a Greener crossbolt, which is another safety mechanism to secure the receiver. It also has what they refer to as side clips, which are bevels in the receiver, and also in the barrel, which makes the gun tighter, less wear, less movement of the receiver in the barrels over time. We'll take this gun apart. You can look, see how beautiful the bluing is underneath here. It's just like new. Again, here the face of the gun's just like new. Look it over well. Look under here. No pitting at all. Nice and shiny. Very clean. Just an all-around good gun. Now, do you have to spend $2,000 to get yourself a good side-by-side shotgun? No, you don't. The Italians, the Spanish, and even the Americans, like the Savage Fox, L.C. Smith, other companies like that, have made really good shotguns. And you can't go wrong buying one of them as long as it's been well looked after. I hope these are some pointers that will help you in your purchase, and the best of luck. Thank you.